the Tidradio TD-H3. Let's take a close-up look of this tiny radio. Up next on the Higgins Report. Welcome to the Higgins Report. I'm Mike Higgins reporting, and here's my report. Let's take a closer look at this radio. It was provided to me by Tidradio. I'm not being paid to promote this radio, but if you decide to purchase this radio, use the links in the description. It helps keep macaroni and cheese on the table and to pay for additional radios. I'm always in need of more radios. So let's get to it. This Cheapo radio is loaded. You have an AM band from 108 to 136 megahertz, FM from 50 to 76 megahertz, and 76 megahertz to 108 megahertz. I do believe you can just say from 50 to 108 megahertz. Then 136 to 174 megahertz, transmit and receive. 174 to 400 megahertz, receive. That's VHF. Then UHF, 400 to 470 megahertz, transmit and receive. 470 to 600, receive. I don't know what you're going to receive there, but you have it. Now, this Cheapo radio will probably have more functions than you'll actually use. Something for everyone. Maybe you're a secret agent. You got a scrambler. It's password protected. It has 2 push-to-talk buttons, which is cool. Saves you a step, not having to switch between channel A and channel B. Just hit the appropriate PTT. So, I like Cheapo. I don't like Crapo. Well, so far, this radio passes the sniff test. This is a somewhat tiny radio. Just to compare it to some other radios, here is the TD-H3. This is the Anytone 878. It's definitely a smaller radio. This is an HTX 202. Good old classic 2-meter radio. Yeah. And one last comparison. A Baofeng UV5RM Plus. As you can see, the TID radio is significantly smaller. You get the gist. All right. Battery. Let's have a look. You get a 2500 milliamp hour battery. Now, I will say that I gave this radio a little test, and I carried it all day with me. I had several short QSOs with actually good audio reports, and at the end of the day, I still had 2 out of 3 bars left on the battery. Battery can be charged directly by USB-C or into a cradle. I did not receive a cradle with this radio, but I do see some of the packages come with the cradle. I like having a charging cradle, just have a place to set the radio on a desk, etc., etc. Build quality. For less than $50, I'm good. Buttons seem sufficient. Got a solid feel to the volume knob. It doesn't wobble. Nice and tight. Seems a little hollow, but not too bad. I like a color display, but lots of times they look washed out when you're outside. Not this one. All right, it's kind of a cloudy, overcast day, but the sun is actually kind of bright. And if you take a look, the screen is fairly legible. So I think it fares a little bit better than some of your other cheaper handhelds. So granted, it wasn't a super bright sunny day. It's November here, not too far from Chicago. We'll get sun again sometime in April. The display again is decent. Audio output. The radio sounds very good.
Spotter information statement. Spotter activation will not be necessary through tonight.
It is certainly loud enough. It actually
The temperature was 51 degrees.
will sound a little distorted at full volume. Full volume is way too loud, so that's not a problem. Programming. This radio can be programmed with the supplied USB-C cable into your PC using either the Tidradio software that you can download or Chirp. I prefer Chirp, and Chirp is what I used to program this radio. I was able to get a custom boot. I don't know if you saw it real quick there. I've got my weather channels programmed in here and some local repeaters. It didn't take long at all to program it. If you've used Chirp, if you have used Chirp with other radios, there's nothing special about getting that set up. I'm sure there are other videos out there showing you how to use Chirp with this radio step by step. I didn't want this radio or this video to be that long. Another option for programming is Bluetooth with your phone. If you press and hold the Bluetooth button, you get a little icon pop up right here saying that the Bluetooth is turned on. Get your phone and you can download this app. I believe it's pronounced Oddmaster or Odemaster. The description of the app states it supports programming, intercom, and social intercourse. Sounds nasty, but it works if that's your cup of tea. Honestly, Bluetooth capability to your phone is pretty impressive for such a cheap radio. Seems fancy. A question I'm sure I'll get: how do you unlock the radio, Mike? It's real easy on here. All you do, the radio is turned off. You have two push-to-talks on here. One for channel A and one for channel B. You want to hold this push-to-talk. Keep it depressed. And depress the star button right here. Then turn the radio on. See the skill involved here? You'll get a menu. Ham, GMRS, or normal. I currently have the radio set to normal. Now, if you are going to change this, this will clear your memory and your settings back to default. So make sure you back up your radio with Chirp or the app or somehow before you proceed. So what about Spurious Emissions? Hey Mike, there you are reviewing a cheap Chinese radio again. You know they're all splatter boxes. Hey, I don't know that. Some are, for sure. There are other videos out there on this radio testing spurious emissions. I'm not going to just repeat what others have already tested. I'll summarize. You'll have better luck if you order the TD-H3 ham radio version. The GMRS version might be a little noisier. Or not. In summary, I'll state the obvious up front. For people new to ham radios or radios in general, this is a cheap radio. But it's functional. And it's fun to mess around with. For the price, this radio comes with some features I wouldn't expect. Like Bluetooth, a nice display, good battery life, and USB-C programming with the cable. It makes for a good knock-around radio. It's not going to have a great receiver in it compared to an ICOM or a Kenwood or a Yaesu HT. That's true with any of these sub $50 radios. But if you're a tightwad like me and you want to have a little knock-around radio, maybe to throw in a backpack or in your back pocket or in your glove box, not a bad deal. That concludes this Higgins report. I've reported my report. 73s for now. Be safe.